Tab and the doctor's in. So today we're going to be going over a Broly Surge deck list. So if you don't know what this leader does, he has an auto once per turn. When you combo with a red or blue card, or excuse me, red or green card, you can draw a card. Awaken Surge ability like any other Surge leader. You match the colors of the leader and you put it underneath the card. So in this case, you would choose one green and one red card, place it underneath this card, and then you may draw 2 cards and then choose up to 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode and then flip the card over. So then on the Awaken side, activate main ability. Once per turn, when your life's at 3 or less and you choose 1 card underneath the card, place it in your drop area, you can choose one of 2 abilities. First one says, choose up to 1 battle card in your drop area, combo with it, and then you get whatever auto is attached to the card, if there is one. And then this card gains double strike for the duration of the turn. So if you have a battle card attacking for a game and you need a little bit more combo power, you can still use this ability, but obviously your battle card's not going to get double strike because your leader card would in this case. Second ability is you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Alright, so going into the bread and butter of the deck, red and green, obviously we're going to run 4 of the check lands, Broly Demonic Origins. I rarely ever actually hard cast the card out. It's pretty much just energy fodder at that point, because with Broly Surge I found out that if you don't charge multicolored turn 1, it sets you back a significant amount, and it pretty much almost costs you the game in 90% of the turnarounds. After that, I'm going to run 4 Dormant Legends, extra card. I don't physically cast it. I have another card that puts it in a drop area for me. The only reason why I even use this is to be able to play the 6-drop, which you'll see in a little bit. As for Unison cards, we're running the Golden Frieza Unison of Malice SR. So it has a 2 specified costs of green. You can cast anything more than that, really. I've hard casted this out for 4 at some games, just depends, just to get the extra crit damage in. The +1 activate main, you draw 1 card, and then you choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the top of your deck, and then the card gains critical. So I found a little neat technique is that when I have this out on the field and I have Dormant in hand and I don't want to see this in hand, I'd rather see it in the deck, I can draw 1 with Frieza, I'm going to top deck Dormant, and then later on I run the multicolor Gotens that allow you to search this and discard it from your drop, or from your deck into your drop. So I basically combo a Goten, take this card off the top of your deck, put it in the drop area, and then you restand energy if you do so. So it's basically, in a sense, a free 25k critical attack. And then the activate main on this side, the second one is a -2. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their battle cards with energy cost of 2 or more and place it in the drop area. So if they're a deck that doesn't really go wide but has really heavy hitters, they can't swing with anything battle card wise unless they sacrifice another battle card. So they're going to be substantially set back in a sense if you use this. You can hard cast it for 2 if you know you're trying to survive the next turn, and then -2 and just send it straight to the drop area. You don't even have to attack with it. You don't have to do anything with it. You can just sacrifice it in a sense and spend 2 energy to set back the opponent. And then new release out of the new anniversary box is the Vegeta Resolute Agent of Destruction. It's a 4 specified cost Unison, double strike critical auto. When it comes into play, I can choose 1 card in my hand and discard it. When this card's played, all of my opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier get KO'd. Really, really good. Board clear is amazing. Obviously, when it comes to multiple cards, like in the Abuni aspect, the opponent is the master of the card, so the opponent would end up choosing which order they get KO'd, since it KOs all of them at the same time. +1 activate main, card gets 5,000 power for the turn, so it turns into a 25,000 power double strike critical. And then the -5 says if your leader card is a evil wizard card or all your energy is mono green. In this deck you're running multicolored, so the -5 has absolutely nothing to do with it. So you're pretty much using it for the 25k double strike critical and the massive board wipe. Obviously running Unisons, you want to run Counterplay Frieza. If you don't know what this does, it's a free counterplay as long as your Unison has 2 or more markers on it. A green Unison, excuse me, has 2 or more markers on it. Auto, when this card comes into play, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards not ignoring barrier, and energy costs 7 or less, and you're able to KO it. So it's good because it gets around deflect, because the auto doesn't target deflect. It's not part of the counterplay aspect of the card. The only setback with this card is that if you do use it, you can't activate counterplay skills on any other cards for the duration of the card, or for the duration of the turn. So it's a hit or miss. You want to hit a big monster when it comes out, as long as it doesn't have barrier, obviously, because it does ignore that. So the next card, just in case if we're playing a deck that doesn't want to self-awaken you and get you down to that 3 life to use your leader's ability, running for the 1-drop Newfound Power Son Gohans. Auto attacks, you can choose up to 1 life, or you may choose 1 life, add it to your hand. If you do, card gains 10,000 power on critical. Self-explanatory, Self-Awakener. They've been around for quite a while. Next card, I'm running 4 of the Chi-Chi Motherly Majesties. Very, very good card, turn 2 for defense. I don't really use it for anything else unless I'm trying to dig for something on my kill turn and my leader's still not awakened yet. If you have 2 more red or green multicolors in your energy, when you combo with this card, you draw 1. And then combined with your leader card effect, with the auto once per turn, if you combo with a red or green, you draw another card. So in a sense, you lose this 1 card in the hand to, plus 5,000 power for the combo, but you're also drawing 1 for this card if you have 2 multicolors, and then you're drawing 1 on leader. So you minus 1 out of hand, but then you go positive 2. It's a very, very good defensive card early on, in case somebody's trying to swing at you with some crit damage that you still want to take. And then 4 Goten Strong of Hearts. This is the card I was mentioning. Has energy exhaust. You're really never charging it unless it's turn 1 and you need to get a red-green turn 1. If your leader card is a Broly card, when you combo with this card, choose up to 1 red extra card with field and the energy cost of 2 from your deck and place it in the drop area. So our main target here is Dormant. Like I said earlier with discussing the +1 of the Golden Frieza Unison Malice activate main. If you do so, you can choose up to 1 of your energy, switch to active mode. And then if you have 5 or less cards in hand, you can draw 1. And then also combining that with the Broly auto on the non-awakened side, you essentially +2 off that. Next card I'm running is the super combos. We're running 4 Paragus super combos. To me, it's too good. I don't really run a lot of arrivals in here other than the 6-drop. So I feel that running Nappa is not really needed. Combo with the card, you draw 2 cards, and then you warp a card from your hand. It doesn't have to be one of the 2 that you drew. It could be any card in your hand. So if you draw into another Unison that's pretty much a dead card in your hand, you can warp that. Or you draw into another field card and you don't have any more Gotens, you can warp that. And then obviously that you only get that effect when you're at 4 life or less. But in case you're playing against aggro and you need to dump the cards early to survive, like Green Gohan or Vegex or Pilaf even before you're able to hit that 4 life, it's a zero cost 10k combo, so you're able to dump it early. You just won't get the effect. Next card I'm running is 3 of the Raditz Arrival Invaders. It's a 1+5k, so it's really not that great on the aspect of if you don't have the permanent active. So the permanent says if you have a red or green multicolor in your energy, so basically turn 1 in a sense, ideally, the combo cost is reduced in your hand and battle area by 1. So if you have this card in your hand and you charge or multicolor turn 1, it becomes a 0 cost 5k. But the positive part about this is that it's red-green, so it helps field or fuel those arrival costs that we need to make instead of dumping, say, a super combo and a Chi-Chi's Motherly of Majesty just to get the arrival card out. Next card we're running out of 3 is the Chompabiris. A little OCD here. I'm running the old. I have 1 copy of the old one and then 2 of the new foils. It's a little annoying. So what this card does is if you don't know, it's and a rival card for 1 red. Rival combo blue and green, or excuse me, red and green. I don't know why I keep saying blue. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 20,000 power or less and KO it. Then choose up to one of your battle cards with an energy cost of 6 or less, and it gains a double strike for the duration of the turn. So pretty much any of these crit guys that we have, the 1-drop Gohan. As you'll see in a little bit, we have I run the Swift Championship 2020 Volume 1 Championship Broly. That is crit as well. And then I think there's one more that might have crit. Going on from there, for Topo Righteous Aid, it's too good. If you don't see Goten at all and you have to negate turn 2, I mean, you can, if you're not playing against a really aggro deck, you can pretty much just negate anyway, just for the discard effect, to discard Dormant Legend if you draw into one. So then your following turn, you have availability of arrivaling, and if you need to deny your opponent combo power. So if you don't know what this card does, it's a negate. If it's your opponent's turn, your cost is reduced by 2, so it comes out for 2 instead of 4. When you negate the attack, or it's a counterattack, so choose one other card in your hand, place it in your drop area, then negate the attack and play this card. Has an auto when it comes into play, as long as it's your opponent's turn. When you play it, for the duration of the turn, your opponent can't attack unless they choose 2 cards from their hand and discard it into the drop area. So if they don't have cards in hand, they can't attack. It's not like Black Mass Saiyan where you fulfill the cost as much as possible. It's if they don't have exactly 2 cards, you can't negate, or they can't attack at all. Next card I run out of 4 of because it's absolutely broken and it's too good to play. And if you don't run them at 4 of, then you probably should. Laqueer and Korun, the Universe 8 Destroyer and Angel. So it's a critical, energy exhaust, rarely ever charging it, like I said with Sun Goten, Strong of Heart. It has Alliance, though, for red and green. So if you don't know what Alliance does, Alliance is a keyword skill that you can tap when you attack, you can tap a red or green or a red-green. You have 3 options and while this card is attacking. So if I have Topo on the board, I can attack with this card and use Topo to fuel this card's Alliance. So what this card's Alliance says is it says, this card gains the total power of the card switched to rest mode by the skill for the duration of the battle. You draw 2 cards, and then you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and minus them 20,000 power. It doesn't ignore barrier, which is, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but not many things early on turn 3, which you'll find out why I specifically say turn 3. A lot of things don't really have barrier around then, unless maybe Invoker, but you have outs to that as well. Permanent skill, if your leader card is red, or if you have a red or green battle card in play, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So it's a 5 cost, becomes a 3 cost, your leader card is red, or if you have to Topo on turn 2, or if you drop a newfound power Gohan on turn 1, or turn 2, I mean, because you'll be tapped out. Then you'll meet the requirements. And then comboing with this card is I run the Gogeta Acrobatic Warrior. Only one can be played on the field at a time, excuse me, not per turn, but only one can be on there total. When a battle card that's both red and green with the energy cost of 5 is played in your battle area, activate this skill and you can play it from your hand. So it's a free cost, 4 drop, 15k. You're never swinging with though. It's literally there just to assist with the Destroyer Angel's Alliance power. Because a second auto says when you switch this card to rest mode by Alliance, you automatically deal 1 damage. So essentially, you attack with Karun and Laqueer. You tap this for his Alliance skill. You automatically deal 1 damage for his auto, and then you draw 2 and potentially wipe the board of 2 battle cards. And then it's critical, and then the 15,000 gets added onto that. So it's a 35,000 power critical that has to be done. And then if you have energy open, you can always double Arrival Beerus in and give it double strike. Next card is 4 of Broly Swift Executioner. Critical, energy exhaust. Like I said, rarely ever charging it. Unless it's turn 1 and we absolutely have to. Activate battle though. Tap 1 red and 1 green. If your leader card is Broly, You play this card from your hand, and then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gains negative 10,000 power. I completely butchered that. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets negative 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. And then auto, you choose one card in your life and add it to your hand. As a cost to when you play this card, you can choose up to one of your opponent's cards in their hand and have them discard it. You don't have to take a life. It's a cost. If you don't want them to discard a card, then they don't have to. Then you don't need to take a life. But it's a very good turn 2 if you're trying to be a little bit aggro and deny them a little bit of hand presence, in a sense. Next card will be the 6-drop Broly Tragedy Foretold. So if you don't know what this card does, it's a 2-cost arrival, has energy exhaust. Permanent says only one of these can be on the field at a turn, or at a time, and Dormant Legend has to be in the drop area in order for this card to even be able to play on the field. Good things about this card: when you play this card, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and they get minus 15,000 power for their until the end of your opponent's turn. So if you do this on your turn, it's going to stay there until the end of your opponent's turn. Second auto, when your opponent combos, you may choose one card in your opponent's combo area and place it into the owner's drop area. If you do, negate the skill for the duration of the turn. So what this is saying is that after every single card your opponent combos, there's going to be a checkpoint window. You can decide if you want to use it or not. If you decide not to use it, then they can combo with another card. Mind you, they can combo with like 2 or 3 or 4 cards, and then you can still choose the original first card they combo with. Mind you, this auto will trigger and will resolve prior to the opponent being able to use any of your rival skills. So if I was playing in the mirror match and the opponent comboed with, say, Raditz, I would be able to remove the Raditz before they're able to tap any energy to arrival it. And then the Sweet Daddy of the deck, the SS3 Scrambled Broly, Raditz, and Vegeta. Arrival 3 red, 2 green. It's the secret rare, so it has the ultimate tag. You can't run any more than 1 secret rare per deck. When you play this card, choose 1 card in your life, place it in your drop area, and then you deal 2 damage to your opponent. When your opponent combos, second auto, when your opponent combos with a battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's combo area and place it in the owner's drop area. So, like I said earlier with the Broly Tragedy Foretold, there's a checkpoint at the end of every single combo. So if your opponent combos with, say, 5 cards that are all above 2 costs, so 3 costs or more, and their very last card they combo is a 2 cost or less, this auto will trigger, and then you can remove any card in their combo, or you don't have to target the 2 cost or less combo. And then also, mind you, that when you arrival this in, say you're at 4 life, you have to crit a life. So when you crit that life, you automatically burn them for 2 damage. So if they're at 4 life and you're at 4 life, you can crit yourself down to 3, burn them down for 2, and then you can Surge Awaken, untap 2 energy, and then use Broly Leader's effect to gain double strike, and then just combo out with everything on your hand. So basically, because this card is stopping them from comboing, and then ideally, if you know you draw into this, you have this guy on the field prior to stop them from the big combos that get around this auto. But that is the deck. This is my Broly Surge deck, 60 cards. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for coming to the lab.